Late on, Representative John Duarte highlighted a particularly disturbing problem facing the electric vehicle sector: the use of child labor in the mining of vital minerals. Along with general enthusiasm for electric vehicles, the demand for basic elements like cobalt and lithium, which are needed to make batteries, is growing. Duarte's appeal for activity highlights the ethical conundrums and violations of fundamental liberties connected with the retail network of the electric vehicle sector, thereby illuminating the negative aspects of harmless to the environment innovation. The reality of child labor. In the field of electric vehicles, child labor is a challenging problem, especially in areas like the popularity-based Republic of the Congo. The mining of cobalt, a necessary component in EV batteries, has resulted in the double dealing of weak youngsters, who are mostly driven by impoverishment and an absence of instructive potential outcomes. For example, these high school employees deal with dangerous working circumstances, long stretches of boring labor, inadequate security gear, and occasionally collapsed treacherous sections. Young children are double-dealing victims, as well as targets of verbal and physical maltreatment. They're driven to work for low pay that barely covers for their family, even if they're under fear of discipline. These areas need justifiable protections and execution to prevent unchecked double-dealing and support the trend of poverty and abuse. One aspect of a young job in a mining company is the terrible difficulty of education. Young people working in the mines are deprived of the chance to attend class and develop the skills needed for a more bright future. Their prolonged durations and actual slowness cause them to get locked in a routine of poverty since they leave little time or energy for training. Social and financial reasons drive a great concentration of young labor in the cobalt mining sector. Families are forced to rely on services created by their children in view of extreme neediness, limited adult job possibilities, and a lack of access to basic amenities. The hazardous development of the EV industry and the consequent strong demand for cobalt on the whole market drive mining companies financially to use small, dark labor. The ethical dilemma. The confused moral dilemma involving child labor in the field of electric vehicles raises questions regarding the account covering supportability and green developments. Although electric cars offer a lot for the environment, they also undermine fundamental liberties, especially with regard to the double dealing of children with mining purposes. This moral dilemma is essentially a logical conflict between ordinary liberties and natural supportability. Corporate accountability and obligation also run in the risk of EV area. Worldwide businesses are most likely the best and most amazing companies on earth. They have an ethical responsibility to make sure that their products remain uncolored even in cases of slight infringement of liberties. Corporate pledges and sincere behavior every now and then stray depending on the difficulty in locating pure ingredient sources and evaluating suppliers given the erratic and sinister character of global stockpiling systems. Mechanical and financial forces further confuse the moral issue. Because of the stimulating speed of mechanical improvement and the growing interest of consumers in greener products, every now and then, to the disadvantage of moral work rehearsals, there is great tension in mining activities to raise efficiency. Industry responsibility. The company that makes electric cars has a great responsibility to address young workers in their supply lines. The company has an increasing responsibility to guarantee that its products are freed from fundamental liberties infringement, given the growing interest in electric vehicles. The EV company should concentrate on supportability in a way that transcends inherent problems to include moral work values and social responsibility. Two key elements of this dedication are moral obtaining and straightforwardness in the industrial chain. Companies must coordinate their stock chains, identify high-risk areas, and engage suppliers to guarantee that work practices follow global norms. They also have to adopt strict expected levels of effort plans in order to follow the starting points of minerals applied to their products. Receptiveness is basic. Companies should make their efforts to terminate child labor accessible to the general public and their production network arrangements. This defines industry standards for obligations and increases client certainty as well. Another more basic component of combating child labor is working with local associations and networks. Ground-based NGOs have the necessary skills to monitor for work abuses and support underappreciated networks. By working with these organizations, companies can gain important insights into the social and financial elements that lead to child labor and long-term plans. Multiple choices, interest and vocation, welfare and education drives locally can help reduce the need for child labor by allowing families multiple options. Managing industrial obligations mostly depends on cash being placed into development and innovation. The domain of electric vehicles should allocate resources to innovations that improve simple production, network recognition, and simplicity. Blockchain innovation is one such invention that could fit an unchangeable exchange record and moral obtaining. Furthermore, depending less on struggle minerals as substitute materials and reusing technologies helps reduce the risks connected with dishonest labor practices. Legislative and policy measures. Fighting child labor in the field of electric vehicles depends on well-ordered, robust rules and policies. Fundamental in nature, global associations and legislatures help to define, preserve, and guarantee congruity all through the worldwide stockpile chains. These policies must protect unhappy meetings, empower moral work practices, and create a fair, sustainable sector of the economy. Support of labor guidelines in nations like the popularity-based Republic of the Congo, where young employment is a normal occurrence, is basic. These values should clearly forbid the hiring of kids for dangerous jobs like mining and guarantee that all professionals paying little attention to maturity approach safe working conditions, fair compensation, and medical treatment and instruction. Solid implementation suggests that, as expected for transgressions, successive tests and harsh penalties are absolutely necessary. Another important step is to make the expected level of effort required for companies involved in the EV manufacturing chain obligatory. Broad analysis of stock chains should be required of companies in order to identify and resolve problems related to child labor and different infringements of essential liberties. Two examples of control that different districts can adopt and enhance are Area of 1502 of the US Straightforward Demonstration and the European Union Struggle Minerals Guidelines. The global concept of the EV inventory network depends on peaceful agreements and involvement, consumer awareness and advocacy. Duarte also underlines the need for consumer support and knowledge in the fight against child employment in the field of electric vehicles. He exhorts customers to support companies that follow moral standards and to demand simplicity from creators. Supporting events and public mindfulness campaigns can help people see the problem and apply pressure on companies to concentrate on shared freedoms in their operations. According to Duarte, morally conscious and educated consumers might make a lot of progress by following rules that support fair and logical assembly practices. All in all, it is essential to remember the complex link existing between natural manageability and common liberties, as shown by John Duarte's passion for involvement on the topic of child oppression in the EV company. It is imperative to make sure that the global migration to electric cars does not encourage ongoing exploitation and damage. Duarte advocates for more severe principles, moral obtaining strategies, and buyer consciousness campaigns in order to underline the requirement of an all-encompassing approach to dealing with maintainability, one that defends the world and its neighbors. Right now, the assignment is to translate this source of inspiration into practical guidelines, guaranteeing a legal and moral EV market. So, what are your views on the issues of child enslavement in the EV business? Do share your views in the comment section below. If you enjoyed watching the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel.